Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm like, let me go talk to my consulting doctor that I work with. Who's the doctor? Spirit. Like, let me just sit and get quiet and meditate on this. I don't ask ChatGPT. I don't call my physician, supervising physician. Like, he's not here. He doesn't know the picture. I know the picture. Who else
Hmm.
knows the picture? Spirit. So I will talk to Spirit, and Spirit always guides me. And then when there's a couple complaints that I really don't like dealing with, and so when that happens, I'm just like, I summon in the Reiki energy of best possible outcome. Like, let
Yeah.
me have the words, let me have the say, let me influence this person to do what's right for them.
Welcome to Big Crystal Energy, Season 3, the Veil Season. I'm Ashley, and I live at the threshold between medicine and magic, between the visible world and what waits just beyond it, between the person I present and the witch I am. I've learned something. The in between isn't a problem to solve, it's a place of power. This season, we're exploring the veil, where Victorian women spoke for the dead, where fairies guard the crossroads, where glamour becomes armor, where you stop apologizing for being both things at once. The crystals have always known the way through. Let me show you. Hello, and welcome back to Big Crystal Energy. I am Ashley, and I am so excited today because I found out in the wild another PA that's also a witch. And when I discovered her, I said to myself, oh my gosh, we must talk and be friends immediately. So today I have Calla on, and I am so excited to have her because I feel like her content online is so great. Not only is she a witch, but she also provides like fun medical content and words to the wise and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And so I just am so thrilled to have you on. So welcome, Calla, to Big Crystal Energy.
Thank you. Thank you for the water, and thank you for seeing me, for
Oh,
the
yes.
multitude. Mm.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, as it may be hard to imagine, there are not that many open witches in
Mm.
medicine. Um, so I'm just interested a
Mm.
little bit, like just to go back a ways, first and foremost, how long have you been practicing medicine?
I've been, as a PA, 5 years. I've
Uh-huh.
been in medicine since like 2020. Wait, hold on. Oh, I lied. Since college, like 2017.
Okay.
Wow.
So are you someone that always wanted to practice medicine, or what was your journey like?
I was always a science girly. Anytime I
Okay.
had anytime I had money as a kid, I was buying. I don't think they were Nat Geo books, but they were like hardcover books about like geology, about dinosaurs, about nature, and that's what I spent my money on as a kid. I didn't really watch. You too? I didn't really watch. I mean, I watched cartoons, but I like usually had the Discovery Channel on repeat, and like whatever animal documentary was on, I would just eat it up. So I was going to college in Jersey, and it came time to have that conversation with my advisor. And they sat me down, first of all, 2 semesters earlier than they promised.
Hmm.
And they're like, girl, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm 20. I don't know what I want to do the
Yeah.
rest of my life. So I chose biology as my major just because I didn't know what else to do. So I pursued that track. And I was just sitting there with the whole conversation that I'm interested to hear your perspective on doctor, mid level practitioner, advanced practice practitioner. Like, what do I want to do? So I got this job as a scribe in the
Oh, we're
emergency room.
scribes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I work with scribes in the emergency room all the time.
You used to or you do?
I don't work in the ER anymore, but
Uh,
when I did work in the
okay.
ER, we had scribes and I just
I
it
wish
was
we utilize them in every specialty. I don't
me
understand.
too.
It's just such a good, like, I'm not talking about like cheap labor, but it's such a good way to get hands on care, hands on
Absolutely.
experience. It's so nice for me. Save my wrists.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
So I was a scribe in the ER, and I was determined to go to medical school, I think, because that's like what was expected of me.
Hmm.
But I was chatting, I was nice because I had a range. I had doctors and doctors from, that quote golden age of medicine. And I
Sure.
had new wave doctors who were like 30, 40 years old. And then there was some APPs, advanced practice practitioners who were new and old, and
Hmm.
PAs and NPs. So I had the whole spectrum. the doctors were miserable
Yes. Yes.
and constantly most of them were pretty encouraging, but there was one in particular, the medical co-director, whatever the title is, who was trying to talk me out of going to medical school. He was like, "What would you do if you didn't go to medical school? Like, be an accountant, be this, do this, do this." And like, I'm not a numbers person.
No,
I
me
got
either.
this is the highest number I can count to.
I feel that.
So no matter him trying to talk me out, I did listen to his advice about maybe not going to medical school after seeing just like the actual miserable doctors that exist. Like the orthos were the only ones that were happy.
Yeah, it's
And
still true.
so, you know, I not interviewed, but talked to a bunch of PAs. It seemed a better time commitment, a better commitment. And I was like, what do I want to be? A miserable doctor or like a semi well-adjusted PA?
Sure.
So that's when I kind of claimed the PA route, probably around like junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I latched onto it because I went to the medical advisor of my college, and she was not a nice lady. I sat
Oh.
her down and she was like, "You want to go to PA school? You don't have the grades for that." And all I said to her was, "Watch me."
Mm-hmm.
And guess who got
Wow.
into one of the top 10 PA programs in the
Hell
country?
yeah.
This lady.
Ooh, get it. Yes. Oh my gosh. Because the thing is, it's not easy. It is not easy. I
Mm-mm.
mean, I'm clearly quite a bit older than you. Now that I look at
Only
that.
physical age. I'm really like 1600 years old.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm.
Old soul. But yeah, it's not easy. And I always say if I hadn't gotten in probably during the time that I did, I don't know if I would have because I didn't have
Mm.
perfect grades in college. I didn't know that I wanted to be a PA until I was
Mm.
a junior in college.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was until until I knew what it was, until I heard
Mm.
what it was. And then I was like, tractor beam, like my only goal in life was to find a career to get out of the Midwest where I lived. So I
Okay.
didn't even have like a burning desire I always wanted to do science. I was very nerdy and sciencey. And my undergraduate was in genetics and biology, but
Wow.
I didn't really see myself working in a lab.
Mm.
So I ended up in this role. And honestly, it has served me well. But now as I've been hitting the 20-year mark, the burnout is real.
It's so real. I love having it reflected back at me that you weren't determined because I never felt super determined. I felt like most of the people I met were like gun ho, that's what I want to be. And I was like,
Mhm.
I just want to make six figures and support myself. And
Yes.
that's my goal.
Seriously. It just seemed like at that time and seeing other people go through the process, they are so committed. They're so like, this is what I want to do with my life
Mm.
and this is my dream. And I never really felt that way. And so I always kind of felt I didn't feel guilty, but
Mm.
I just never had that like passion. It's not that I don't like my work. It's just that it wasn't like the only thing in my life that I could ever imagine myself doing.
I I just want to sit for a moment and just like take that in. That's so special. And I'm so glad that I can hear that reflected back at me because all these type A people in my PA school, like I was like, y'all gotta chill. Like
Seriously.
their identities were getting married and being PAs. And I was like, y'all, I contain multitudes and cannot be limited to the four walls in this classroom.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's true. I mean, but I think that's I think that that's really cool that you had that realization back then because I don't know during that time when I started school and then I just started going down that road. I think
Mm.
I started getting blinders because I thought, the only way that I'm going to make my life what I want it to be is if I stay on this track and I
Mm.
do these things. And so I did feel that I lost myself. I kind of lost my way as far as kind of my inner sparkle for a long time, but fortunately it did come back.
Always does
It does come back,
if you
but
welcome it.
yeah, I'm interested just for my own curiosity because
Mm.
I'm nosy. Where did you go to school?
Rutgers.
Oh, nice.
What about you?
I went to Western University. It's in Southern California.
Oh, okay. I think, wait, no, different than Northwestern. Okay,
Different
understood.
than Northwestern. Yeah,
Yes.
it's in Southern. It's a big class. I mean, I don't know how big your class was, but we had like 98 people in my class.
Wow, we
It
had
was really big.
50.
Yeah, 50 is more common. The bigger class, I mean, it was fine. It didn't, I mean, I don't know any different, but yeah, it was a bigger class. But it was my number one school to get into also
That's so awesome.
because it was in California, it was outside of LA. I wanted to live in LA. I wanted to be like the girl in the city. I wanted to be the girl that escaped Nebraska and was living in the big city.
Mm.
And now here I am in suburbia, like 2 hours from the city. So I don't
Was
know.
was PA school your segue to get out of the Midwest? Like that's how
Yeah.
you that's so awesome though. And I think
Mhm.
that you whether or not you knew it then, you knew that you're like, I just need this goal and this is a tool. And that's all it
It
really
is.
is.
Yeah. And I don't want to say, I don't want, if anyone's listening to this episode, I don't want it to come across that
We don't
we're
care.
not committed to the work. We're not committed to the thing. Like, that's not true at all. And I do feel very committed to my work. And I do feel very committed to the patients and the patient care and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
But I just want to share this in the beginning because as we transition into the more magical part of our episode here, I think Calla also, we take it very seriously. It's just that the point is that we are multidimensional people and that
Mm.
you don't have to just choose one thing. You can do many things simultaneously. So many people get locked into that idea where, like, I have my job and I'm going to work in this job for 30 years and I can't do anything else. And that feels to me like a trap.
What you're talking about is the patriarchy identity of my value is my work. First of
Yes.
all, I will echo what Ash said. I am the PA you want in an emergency. I can get blood on a stone. I can put a central line in a 94-year-old grandma. Okay? I am capable of badassery, but I think that that comes with the strength comes from knowing that how to not separate it, but how to have it be a part of my personality and not my only personality.
Yes, that's so true. Because I think a lot of people tend to have whatever it is. It doesn't have to be medicine, but I do see it specifically in people that work in the medical field or law or whatever. They take on their title of their job as their complete identity. And I've never been like that. I've never been someone that meets someone and then immediately introduces myself as, "Hi, I'm Ashley," and then immediately goes into the fact that I'm a PA and I do this.
Mm.
Like, that will come up, of course, as it does in conversation, but I don't lead with that.
I don't either. I have found that people seek free medical information or like, can I show you this rash? No, no.
Always.
Unless your insurance is paying me, no.
I don't want to see your rash.
No, if you're a friend, maybe, and you know it's sensitive, but
I
with
love when maybe you get this too, or you just like, I'll get sometimes. Fortunately, it doesn't happen that much anymore because people know my specialty. But I used to, like when I used to work in the ER and things like that, I would just get random text messages from fans of family members of just like some disgusting thing with no context, no wording, just the picture. And I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? Please don't.
can't tell you how many times I got in fights with my parents over that, about like the assumed access to my knowledge. Yes, I was granted privilege from them for paying for it, but that does not mean that you get access unfiltered, unasked, like, hey, where are you at? Can I ask you something?
Right.
And you know, they think they don't get like every time I prescribe a medicine, there's a risk associated with that medicine. If I don't
Mhm.
know every single thing that you're putting in your body, I am doing you not good. I'm not doing you good.
Well, the other side of it is it's like people want you to help them and you want to help them, but then what if you do something to help someone that you think is going to help them and then it actually harms them? Are they going to then turn around back on you and be like, "Well, you gave me this." I'm like, "But you asked for the help." Like, I don't even it's like it's not even worth it to go there, you know?
Barely with the protection of having vitals and someone witnessing and, you know, all my books around me, let alone a family member. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, now I know also that you are a Reiki practitioner.
Mhm.
When did you start exploring Reiki?
It's funny because so it was always science girly, but Reiki
Yes.
came before the declaration of any kind of medical school.
Oh,
I
wow, that's so interesting.
Oh yeah, I was maybe 15 or 16 sitting at the kitchen table with my friend and his mom and his whole family, but his mom who was a Reiki master and who
Oh,
was building her Reiki practice. And I was so effing fascinated by just like, she was just like, I think she was the woman that I wanted to be. And I just didn't have those words in that. 15-year-old
Mhm.
guy body. But I would go see her like once, twice a month, and she did cranial sacral Reiki, which
Uh-huh.
is just like it's a Reiki umbrella, different arm.
Uh-huh.
But I loved it. And it's funny because I actually wanted to do naturopathy school
Mhm.
I don't remember like what the timing of the decisions was. Was it naturopathy school or PA school? Like kind of me juggling both options. But my mom, my sister, and I traveled to San Diego, somewhere in Northern California, and then Oregon to explore the naturopathy schools. But, anytime anything relatively misunderstood by the general public comes up or anything that's not like Catholic.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Dead name. I don't think you should do that. Like, you can only practice in 12 states. Like, you're only going to make this much money. Like, that's not real.
Mhm.
That's not real.
Mhm. That is so I like that you said that too, because for me, I kind of forgot about this, but at the same
Oh, tell
time
me.
that I was looking into PA school, I was also looking into school for traditional Chinese medicine. And they
Awesome.
had a school in Santa Cruz
Mm,
that I was interested in, but then it was the same thing. I'm like, you know what? My family, because, at that age, you're very concerned about what your family and everybody thinks.
mm.
And so I thought, well, they're not going to go for this. I mean, even though I felt like that would have been a great path for me. Oh, they're not going to go for this. What's my family going to say? What's everybody going to
Mhm.
say? What's everybody going to think about me? So then it just seemed more logical to go the Western medicine route.
I think it's so interesting how much our Venn diagrams overlap for us to have a
Mhm.
very similar
Mhm.
originating story. Like, we were at the crossroads. I don't
Mhm.
think I knew that I was fulfilling the expectations that my family desired
Yeah.
of me until maybe like 2 years ago, when,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. What
There
was that moment for you?
when I realized that family dynamics, calling your boss, your manager, mom and dad, do not belong in any office, particularly healthcare offices.
Mm.
And you know what? Like, it's inappropriate, period.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I always kind of knew that I was I don't know. My family, probably like a lot of families, a lot of Catholic families, there's a lot of drive for money and success and doing things the right way. And so I have to say, my current branching off of societal norms has been quite interesting
Mm.
for
Um,
those in my life. But what can we do? We have to follow what feels right for us.
the living ones are shook. The dead ones, the blood ones, they're happy.
Exactly. Exactly. So you've been working with Reiki since you were quite young.
Mm.
And then so you were trained in Reiki even before you went to PA school, or you got trained after you did training afterwards?
I didn't get my master's in Reiki until 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I was meditating every day. I don't think I had access to a master teacher. I don't
Mhm.
remember if it was like a price thing. I don't even think it was something I considered that I could do. So I didn't ever learn. I just meditated, which I mean, essentially there's very little difference.
Mhm.
I think that the Reiki certification allows you to practice on others. I think that
Sure.
anyone is allowed to do Reiki on themselves. It's everyone has access to it.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that you should not see a Reiki practitioner. Like, come see me.
Yes. Mm.
But I don't think it's so much different from just like tapping into that natural creative life force energy that we all are granted access to by being divine humans. You know.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
2024 is when I got my master cert.
That's so cool. I've taken a Reiki 1 class and I really
Mhm.
loved it, but then I tend to have issues with a lot of everything is like shiny and sparkly, and so I wanna do everything. I tend to want to try this and take this class and take this course, and I'm kind of trying to stop doing that
Beautiful.
because then what ends up happening is you just keep collecting the knowledge and then you don't end up doing as much with the knowledge. And
I,
there's so many rabbit holes that we can go down.
I think it's so nice to have like 3 or 5 things that you do, and like they're if they bring you joy, do it. Like and do those deep and well, and
Yes.
like it's so much better to be focused, I think,
Yeah.
than to be scatterbrained.
And I feel very scatterbrained all the time, but I can hone in when I need to. Well, the cool thing is that creating the podcast has allowed me to go down a lot of rabbit holes and speak with a lot of different people about
Mm.
lots of different types of things, but then also not have to fully commit to all of those things myself. And I can kind of test the things that
Yeah.
feel right for me. I mean, the podcast is Big Crystal Energy. So I'm someone that does work with stones and crystals and, earth magic and all of that kind of thing a lot. But also, I have lots of interest in other things and glamour magic and, whatever. So there's always lots of fun things that we can do.
I love your glamour magic.
Yeah. You know, what I was going to tell you
You may.
before we got on the call, I was going to share with Calla this beautiful patient interaction that I had yesterday. So I used to be blonde, like very blonde. And I just in the last year decided it's time for a change. I want different hair color. Okay. So yesterday I had the worst migraine all day, just absolutely
Mm.
horrible. Finally, it went away, but I was dragging through the day. I had like 30 patients I had to see. It was just Friday. It was busy, 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 busy. So towards the end of the day, I walk into the room with this man, and the first thing when I walk into the room is I was like, hi, I'm Ashley. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you before. It doesn't look like I've seen you in the past. And he's like, well, your picture in the waiting room, you have blonde hair. And I was like, yeah, I used to have blonde hair. He's like, so why did you change it? You didn't like yourself? And I just, he's like, you didn't like yourself before?
I'm gonna fight him.
I was like, I was like, what? I was like, what do I even say to that? I said, well, sir, people are allowed to change. And I'm like, you are coming to me and I'm going to get out a needle that's this long to inject into your body. Maybe you shouldn't try offending me the second I walk in the door.
Say it louder.
I was just taken aback. I was just taken aback. I mean, obviously, this person was just a very unhappy, miserable person because they continued to be combative with me throughout the entire conversation about every single thing. Everything was a problem. They're one of those people that like wants everybody to do stuff for them, but they're not willing to put in their end of the work. That's just not how life works. So I just it,
I'm sorry because there's a lot of layers to that about like, going from blonde as a woman to not blonde. Like that's already something that's, frowned upon, right? And then for this man to like think that he has open access to your appearance, your physical, like what grants people the right to think they have access to comment on things like that?
I know. And is it that odd for people to change their hair color? I mean, honestly, people change their hair color constantly. I think it's because I mean, I didn't have my hair down. I even had my hair up in a ponytail, so you couldn't even really see it. Is it because it looks more palatable for me to present as a blonde woman rather than a woman that has dark hair? I mean, I don't know.
Yes, yes,
I guess
and
so.
yes, it is. And that's the expectation, Like, oh, I find comfort in her presenting blonde because that's what women are supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, like bubbly and blonde. But like I
Ew.
have dark hair, but I'm still very friendly. I don't know. I was just like, man, oh God. Oh,
I,
that was the moment where I was like, the burnout is so real right now.
mm,
Get me out of here. I need to
I,
go
w-
home.
I will share a story that happened to me. 80-year
Yes,
old
please.
woman, chronic pain haver comes in asking me to fill her Percocet, which I don't do. I'm sorry, I don't do that. I don't know you. I don't have a
Can you give a
relationship.
little background on like the type of setting that you work in? Because I know
Mm.
my listeners know I work in orthopedic surgery, but what kind of like clinical setting are you in?
I work in urgent care, so it's
Okay.
appointments and walk-ins, and
Mixed
it's
bag of anything.
what's behind door number 4
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
Actually, just at this time at 1:30, what's
Yes.
behind door number 4.
Right.
So I get, injuries, I get med refills, I get sick visits, all kinds of stuff. It's fun. It works for my ADHD most of the time. So, in particular, this person was asking for Percocets, which is a controlled substance, level 2 or 1. I don't know off the top of my head. And look, I'm not above, excuse me, what am I trying to say? I'm here to help people. That's what my license is for. That's what I went to school for. I'm here to help people. I'm not here to tell people what does and does not work for them, but I am not here to be, demanded things of, especially that edge against my boundaries. And then, so never, like, I'm in makeup, I have tits, I am talking like a queer person, and she looks at me and is like, and I know you voted for Trump. And
What does that? Okay, no.
like, we don't talk about politics, first of all. And at what point is that not reverse racism? Like, just because I'm white, I voted for Trump. I would never in a thousand, like, no.
No.
Like, whether or not you read me as a dude in makeup or as a trans woman, like, is like both of those things, like, what are you?
Oh my gosh.
So she threw me off for the rest of the day, and guess who didn't get Percocet?
No. Well, first of all, that whole situation is just horrifying. Was she mad because you didn't want to fill her medication? Is that why she said you probably voted for Trump? Or
She started the conversation with, I know you're not going to do this. So then why do you even
well,
give me
then
the
why did you
option?
come in?
She's like, oh, I have an appointment in a month. Okay, so you can live without your Percocets for a month. Take Tylenol.
It's not, yeah, it's not appropriate to go to an urgent care for a refill of narcotic pain medication.
It's really not
Just for people to know,
Please
that's
don't
not
come to me
appropriate.
for
Please don't
chest
do that.
pain or abdominal pain for Percocet refills. Go to the ER.
Yeah, no, it's just, oh my gosh, that's so offensive.
Yeah, so is your story though. It's very similar of, people assuming things about us and having expectations about us that just like they don't have any space here.
hmm I mean, and what do you think? Like, okay, so I want to talk about the witchy aspect of our
Okay.
lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What you identify as a witch, I identify as a witch. Do
Mhm.
you feel like you bring that energy to your workspace in any way? Because it is you, right? So,
Mhm. Since so I took 6 months off from healthcare. I quit my last job in December.
mhm.
Um, it was very much as soon as I activated my dark feminine divine
Mhm.
attitudes, all the shadow came up. And then, I was told, oh, you're too emotional to take care of patients. Like, oh, as soon as I started flipping the agenda back in their faces, it was frowned upon. So there was no space to be a witch there. This time I showed up as my witchy self. I told them from the get-go, like, I'm a Reiki practitioner. I am a trans woman. This is secondary to my identity. This is more or less an ability to practice this very flexible license that I have and make money so I can build a
Yes.
business. And and so since listening to your podcast, I've actually been having crystals in my pockets every day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I do bring my Reiki spray and a
Yeah.
feather. Just some things that let me, and I have a trans flag, just things, a little altar more or less, that a little mobile altar that I can bring and break down just to stay grounded.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing too, because in the beginning, I think because I felt kind of when I decided that I really was identifying more in this way, I kind of started feeling so many callings to so many different things, and I just started bringing little things into my workspace, and over time now it's my husband works with me too, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, look at your desk. You've got like you got this whole thing." I'm like, "It's my work altar."
Is
I
he a
feel
PA
good when
too?
I'm at what?
Is he a PA too?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, we met in school.
cute. Oh, I think you told me that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we met in school, and so
beautiful.
now we've been working in the same department together for like
Wow,
10 years.
that's cool. That's
Yeah,
really
it is
cool.
cool. But yeah, now my whole desk, but now it's like now that once I decided I'm gonna fully show up just like you, I'm gonna fully show up as myself, and I'm not gonna hide it. I don't need to be sharing and telling everybody about it, but it's just
Mm-mm.
my energy and my presence.
Yeah.
It is I think everybody loves it, honestly.
I think you were probably bringing it because I think I was too. I just feel like people were probably gravitating towards you because you are not someone that they encounter in medicine very often. I feel like
No.
you are probably like, yeah, this is hard work and this is important work and we must protect patients above all other things, but like we can have fun and smile. And like y'all act like you didn't get into this so you could have your hobbies. Why can't the hobbies exist here too?
Totally, it can, and it's so interesting that you say that because even the other day, I was talking to some of the gals in my office, and I was like chatting with them about the podcast and all the things that I do on the side because they're just amazed that I'm also working full time, got the kids, got the husband, doing the podcast, doing all this stuff, and I'm like, well, don't you have any hobbies? And one of the girls was like, no, I don't really even have any hobbies, and I'm just to me, it's like so you just come to work and then that's it.
I
But I
think
think
that
that's common actually.
and I think that was one thing that led me to burnout super quick. I would go to
Mhm.
work and come home and yeah, I would hang out with people, but I wasn't doing anything for Calla, you know? And
You
hanging
weren't
out with
filling your
people
cup.
yeah, hanging out with people is filling my cup, but like in the same way that our schedules are filled with 30 patients per day, like we can't be doing that in social life. Like
Mm-mm.
you can't have that round robin, like hopping from one activity to the next activity. I think it's super important for every healthcare worker. You know, I don't care how resilient earth energy rock someone says they are. You need time to recharge on your own without
Mhm.
anyone demanding things of your energy,
Mhm. Oh,
especially when our boundary like I don't always get to have my boundaries, you know? Sometimes I have to do stuff that's outside of my comfort zone because I am
oh,
the only one who's going to help someone.
mhm. That's so true. That's so true. And that's the thing, like, when I really discovered the importance of having a spiritual practice for myself, my life changed so much. Like, I was kind of miserable at work, and I was kind of
Mhm.
miserable in my life because I felt kind of lost, like, "Is this it? Is this all there is for me?" I went and I did all the things. I went to school, I did the thing, I
Check.
got
Yep.
married, I have kids, like, I have the houses, I have this, I can buy anything I want, but now what?
That is so reflective of how I felt.
But now what? And now I realize so much, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that having this this spiritual practice and even like engaging with other witches and you know having things that we work on our journaling and our meditating and things like
Mhm.
it just adds so much to life that is so far beyond anything that I could buy, any material item that I could get. It's the thing that really makes me wake up and feel excited almost every day
Mm.
of the week.
I hadn't had those words to express how I felt. I did notice that I'm spending less money. You know, I used to not be able to sustain myself on part-time work, and now I'm good on part-time work.
Mhm.
You know, it really narrowed in like validation in how I seek that out.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think as far as the being a witch, I think unfortunately there is a lot of negative stigma around that. But what I love to bring just to the people around me is that actually, number one, we're just people too. And actually, the things that we believe in and the things that, for the most part, that we're practicing are actually very calming, beautiful, grounded practices, so much more than the fire and brimstone and you're a sinner. Everybody's a freaking sinner at the Catholic Church. I hated that growing up.
Mm.
I could never understand how people liked going every Sunday and being told that they were sinners. I don't know how you like that. How is that fun?
Everyone has a shame kink. Everybody.
I guess.
Period. Everyone. And they're just shadow about it.
Yeah, I guess so. That must be it because I'm just like that. I could never. I remember. Did you grow up Catholic?
Yeah, I went as far as confirmation.
Yeah. Okay. So me too. So at confirmation, I can still specifically remember standing there and they were having us take like all of our little pledges and stuff. And I was standing with my fingers crossed behind my back. Yeah. Because I knew that this was a bunch of bullshit. I
My
just couldn't. I just couldn't. My family, if they hear this episode, which they will not, would probably literally roll over in their grave if they're alive or dead, but whatever. But I I just couldn't. I could never connect.
I'm dying.
So there I am in my frilly white dress that was so freaking ugly. With my fingers behind my back, like, fuck this.
I had two significant moments. So I had to take CCD.
Oh,
First
we
of all,
called it Central City Dump. I don't know what you guys called it, but
the same, the same. So my mom was like, you must go get confirmed so you can get married in a church. And I must have been like 12 and been like, Mom, I'm not getting married in a church, let alone probably getting married. And then so I had this director who came from like North Bumble F, New York, to come to suburban New Jersey to give us these 3 hour long CCD things. She would read us typewritten letters from God. And I went to her one day and I was like, God does not have a typewriter. When are you going to admit to us that you've written these letters? I've always been a disruptor.
oh my God, that's so funny. God doesn't have.
If God wanted to say these things, he'd just show up. Like, y'all, he's omnipresent. Where is he right now?
Yeah.
Give him the
Well, he's
mic.
sitting there on his typewriter. It's a man. It's a white man, first of all, with a beard, sitting on his cloud with his typewriter.
Who give him? Where does he get the ink from? I can't even get ink in my job. Heaven forbid it, the unit secretary needs to get ink. It's a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But God's got plenty.
Yeah, I mean, it was that whole thing. I remember when my husband and I were when we were planning our wedding, I was like, well, I did not want to do our wedding in the church because I don't feel called to go to the church. At one point we had entertained this idea of there was in Santa Cruz, there is this beautiful white Catholic church. The building itself is very beautiful. And so we had gone to a mass because my husband, he still likes to go to the Catholic church. Well, we had gone to a mass and the priest was giving a sermon. And this is Santa Cruz, which is very like supposed to be very liberal.
Yes.
Priest was giving his talk about he was like basically anti-gay and all this stuff. And I'm like, you're having this conversation in Santa Cruz. People were getting up and walking out. I was like, we're out. We're done. No, I can't. This is not cool.
Thanks for standing up for us.
I know, but I was just like, I was blown away just because read your audience. And then also I just can't no.
It's just a way for them to preach whatever code of hatred that they choose, And Jesus was essentially a scapegoat, right? So it's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat until someone stops it. But churches are so pretty. The stained glass gets me every even though it's like stained glass of like people sinning. It's like
no, I mean as art and architecture.
So
I mean, so many churches are beautiful. If you're traveling in Europe or wherever, I mean, the churches are a thing that you visit. But I mean, for me, for you, I mean, that path, it just didn't seem aligned. And so we didn't get married in the church and we had a wonderful wedding and it was fine. And there was no religion in our wedding at all, actually,
beautiful.
and I loved that. And if my husband still wants to go to church once a week, because more than anything for him, it's not so much about the Catholicism of it all. It's more about like just taking that time out of his schedule every week to just go stand somewhere and have gratitude and pray. He just is used to that routine of the Catholic Church. But he always, if I walk in the church with him, he always takes the holy water and flicks that at me and makes a sizzling noise. He's like,
that's fun. I'm glad that he at least he holds on to the foundation of what religion should be, a place to congregate and give thanks and to understand that, as precious as human existence is, there's more to life than flesh and bone.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I'm glad we were able to connect over that because, I mean, we have a lot in common, obviously.
I know. Can't wait to grow up and be like you.
Oh my gosh. Please. Please do. It's a lot of fun. These are very unhinged. It's
Just
a very
less kids for me. Maybe adult
oh
children.
god. Yeah, no, there are
You know?
times when I'm just like, "Oh, love them, but man, they are just taking me to a whole nother level." I
Yeah.
didn't have my kids until I was older, so I had
Mm.
many, many free years, many childless years, and I do adore them, of course, but sometimes it is a lot. So my husband has a ton of energy. He's like raging ADHD, so he's
Mm.
just like, ah, and I'm like, go. You guys all just go burn off that energy, please.
Leave hot girls to do hot girl stuff.
Yes, please. So, as far as your witchcraft practice,
Mm.
are there particular things do you identify as a particular type of witch? Do you follow any certain path? Are you more eclectic? Do you have any deities that you worship?
I'm definitely a little bit all over the place, ADHD babe here.
Yeah, I
I
understand that for sure.
My overarching concept of spirituality is worshiping spirit, who I sometimes call God affectionately just because
Yes.
it's it's Catholic, it's what we
Yes.
did. But spirit to me is creative energy, is love, is that highest vibration that I believe that most people are capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And so so my deities are Lilith and Inanna. Lilith
Mm-hmm.
is my dark feminine. I think my sun is like 1 degree short of being on Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working with her, and that's been really helpful because she's the sovereign. She's the dark feminine, do not bend for anybody. And that was really helpful and is still helpful as someone who's a self-made woman. Like, when am I going to, like, I'm going to declare my femininity and is not to be in the eyes of male.
Mm-hmm.
And Inanna is a goddess of love, war, and fertility. And she, killed the person who violated her body. And she got sent to hell for the underworld for it. And genderless priests brought her back. And so she's always been, so she's Sumerian. So she's Aphrodite's original, I guess, inspiration.
Mm-mm.
And so her priests are prostitutes, priests, and sex workers. Like, and genderless nonetheless. So she's just my queer, more divine light person because I found that I went a little too deep into the dark feminine
Mm-hmm.
and it will consume you.
Yeah. Have you ever seen I have this oracle deck that I really like. Maybe you've seen it before, The Dark Goddesses.
I think I've heard a lot about that recently, being in Cap Spear.
Cap Sphere, what's that? Oh,
Capitolian
Cap.
Spear.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cap.
sorry,
A
sorry.
sphere. Yes, sorry. I'm like, what? Yeah. So it's a really beautiful deck. This woman, Caitlin McCarthy, I just think her art is so
Mm,
really beautiful. But yeah, I love this Dark Goddesses oracle. I think both of the goddesses that you were talking about are, well, I'm pretty sure they're both in this deck.
mm.
I've started working, well, I feel like I'm a very much a kind of this liminal person living between all these different things. And
Identities,
so
yeah.
I'm very focused on Hecate right now. Hecate, however
Mm.
you want to say
I
it.
love when people say Hecate. It's so beautiful.
Hecate. I
I
like
don't
that.
I don't know what the pronunciation is.
I think it goes both ways.
She's not my deity, but much respect.
Yeah, it was interesting because I had never really done any kind of deity work before. And all of a sudden, I started getting all this snake imagery started
Okay.
coming into my life. And I was like, oh, I don't even really like snakes. Like, I mean, I do
The
like,
Catholic trauma.
right. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't dislike a snake, but if I see a snake out in the wild, I'm kind of like, ooh, but
Totally.
it started with when I was redecorating. I've been redecorating my house, and my designer was like found this incredible snake wallpaper, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that wallpaper. And
Wow.
then I started like all these snakes started coming into my life, and so then I
Mm.
decided to get a
Snake
key with
key.
a snake.
Gorgeous.
And so yeah, it was like this strong symbolism of Hecate coming through. And one of my spiritual mentors, her name is Marcella Kroll. She created recently this deck called the Initiate's Oracle, which has a lot of Egyptian and Hermetic influences. And
Mm.
so when I got her deck, the first card that I pulled was a card called The Beginnings, and it had a white snake on it. And so I've been chatting with her, and she's like, I think Hecate is calling you. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, and so that's been kind of interesting. It's an evolution. There's a lot to learn, and deity work is not something that's quick and simple, really. I don't think.
It's really complex and it's really hard to have a routine to follow, I think. But
It is. I do. And I think, as people that are very busy and have lots of interests, sometimes it can be challenging too. I know that my time during the week is very limited to have these specific times to focus and practice and worship and do my offerings and all the things that I want to do. So I think, we just show up and do the best that we can. I mean, ultimately that's all we can do.
my friend always likes to remind me that God's understand that we are humans. And
Yeah.
as long as you're not asking for something without payment, if you're just worshiping, like they like, hello, how are you, mom? Like, hi, Lilith. Like, that's
Yes.
all. Like, light a candle, dance a little bit. Like,
Yes.
it's more than a lot of people are doing, and asking for a lot more.
Certainly. Certainly. So I guess now I want to know, so you have the deities. I've my gateway back was definitely working with stones because
Mm,
I can even remember when I was probably in my early 20s saying like I'm a witch, like to my friends, and
so awesome.
and they were like, "What?" But then I really just put that all aside for
Mm.
so many years, which is sad. But then I reconnected with the stones, and then so many things have evolved. How did you know that you were a witch?
How did I know that I was a witch? I think for a long time, it's really hard when you're assigned male and you don't feel like that belongs because
I can't imagine.
that assignment of gender comes with a lot of power that's based on something that's just like a biological body part,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And so because I have that body part, I am all of these things. The body part and the skin color, I am supposed to be many things, a lot of which that I don't identify with. So I think that being assigned power based on an identity that I was assigned to made me fear my own power. And
Oh gosh.
until I learned that I was a medium and I was meditating, I don't think that I realized that like I have definitely trigger warning for like dark past life stuff. I don't think I realized that like I've definitely died in past lives because I was powerful and a powerful woman, a powerful witch. Like they kill
Mhm,
us. That's what they do,
mhm,
you know? So I think for the longest time I feared my own power
mhm,
because I am a witch, but I
mhm,
had to change the vessel in which my power flowed through
mhm,
and decide what my definition of power would be. So I decided I was a witch actually at my last healthcare job before this one with someone who's also in Capitolia sphere, who
mhm,
actually showed me Cap, and they were like, "You don't have to call it witchcraft. You don't have to claim you're a witch, but you are magic, and you denying your magic identity is limiting you. And do you
mhm,
really want to be stuck in this 9 to 5 hellhole life where you are taken advantage of and you're doing three people's jobs just because like you're afraid of power? Like wake up."
mm. Wow.
I don't know that it was as direct as that, but that was what they were saying.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we can identify the magic in other people before they're able to really identify the magic in themselves. And I know that being aware of that for myself, like sometimes I'll see people that even patients that come into the office. I I had this woman yesterday that she was Indian. She had to have an arranged marriage.
Hmm.
She all this stuff, but she like is in her late 40s and she's taken her power back and she's like, I'm not going to live by these guidelines anymore, and that
Nice.
man lives in my house, but I don't want to be under his rule. And I just
Awesome.
sat there and I was like, you are such a magical person. And
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, she's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm pretty sure no healthcare provider has ever told her that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I identify things in people and I see that, I find it so powerful to tell people that, because oftentimes no one has ever told them
Hmm.
anything like that.
I am so glad that you do that because I find myself doing the same. And I often wonder the repeat patients that we have, like what is the spiritual manifestation of their symptoms? I mean, their
Oh,
physical symptoms are their manifestation, right? Unless you break a
oh,
bone, you fall off a skateboard, you break a bone, like
sure.
accident,
Like
right?
so
But like,
many other things.
what is the spiritual cause behind this physical manifestation? Your repeat GI pain. stomach pain, excuse me, if you're a Virgo. Like, what are you ignoring?
Mm-hmm.
And I dream of having a place where I can do both
Yeah.
and not only be like, here is medicine, but let me actually reach into your chakra and do what you need done.
Mm-hmm.
No accidental, non-consensual prying open of third eyes, but
Certainly.
let them
I
find that on their own.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I don't know. I mean, certainly where I live, I don't see that interplay. There's really no offices or anything where I live that has any sort of real interplay of the science and the spirituality. And I think maybe a more holistic medical office might, but I don't work in that kind of system. And I would love to be able to use other gifts that I have in my daily work, but I try to infuse it in a way that's not, I try to infuse it in my own way where it's not like I'm doing healing work on them like with
Mm.
these other modalities, but I try to bring that energy to my patients. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really eloquently saying that, but
No, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm like, let me go talk to my consulting doctor that I work with. Who's the doctor? Spirit.
yeah,
Like, let me just sit and get quiet and meditate on this. I don't ask ChatGPT. I don't call my physician, supervising physician. Like, he's not here. He doesn't know the picture. I know the picture. Who else
hmm
knows the picture? Spirit. So I will talk to Spirit, and Spirit always guides me. And then when there's a couple complaints that I really don't like dealing with. And so when that happens, I'm just like, I summon in the Reiki energy of best possible outcome. Like, let
yeah.
me have the words, let me have the say, let me have, let me influence this person to do what's right for them.
That's powerful too. Yeah, I mean, there's things that are very challenging to deal with, and there's patients that are very challenging to deal with, and I think that having all of my this whole side of me has really made me a stronger provider, and it's made me really not take on the weight of people as much as
Mm.
as much as it used to. The things that people say or the things that they do or the way that they act, it used to really get to me at times, and now I can really understand for the most part that that's not really my issue. That's really more what's going on with them, and I don't bring it home with me like I used to. But it takes time to understand that.
I've been holding on to that statement that you just said since you told me the first time we exchanged some messages about how witchcraft has made you a better healthcare provider. And I was like, oh, that's one part of what Ash meant, as I'm coming home. And
Yeah,
I do feel exhausted. Like having constant demands on you for 10 hours is like,
it's exhausting.
yeah. And like, it's the broken part of healthcare is the healthcare workers are the robots.
Yes.
The patients get to be humans and the healthcare workers have to leave all of their aspects at the
We're
door.
we're the hamster in the wheel.
Yeah, yeah, and so I've heard your voice in my head saying, like witchcraft made your practice better, and I have been curious as to how that's going to continue to form and inform my ability to practice.
Oh
It's
yeah.
definitely made me more confident. Like I know I can handle most of the stuff. Obviously I can't resuscitate someone with an acute heart attack, right? I just don't have the
Yeah.
equipment. But within the tools that I have, like I am confident in my abilities.
That's amazing. No, it does. And then I think one of the things that I really started shifting for myself is that I started, really focusing on, like, in a sense, the glamour magic of it, kind of
Mm.
bringing people into my world. Like I used to just kind of get up and, you know, not really care and throw my scrubs on and not really put myself together. And I said to myself, no, I'm not. I'm going to tweak that. I'm actually going to put on things that, now we have. Back when I was first starting, everybody just wore the ugly hospital issue scrubs, but now we actually have nice
That's the green
choices,
ones.
we have nice choices. We have nice color options.
Thank you, Figs.
Yeah, thank you.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us, please. Sometimes I'm recording in my things because I got to run home and record. But
And those things are $100, so please drop that coupon code.
yeah, please. I know. Can I? Yeah, let me be an affiliate.
Mm.
Um,
Me too.
and so I really started focusing on things like infusing myself every day with like this special energy that I was going to carry
Uh,
with me into the office and how I was going to
mm.
put on my makeup and the jewelry and the crystals that I chose to go in my pocket or my jewelry or whatever. And honestly, it has made such a huge difference. I don't
Mm.
know if it's because it just gives me more confidence and then that radiates out, but I just have noticed such a big difference. Every day in the car before I even go into the building, I tell myself, you know, how how am I going to show up today? What is the highest level that I'm going to show up today? Every day we don't feel like, I mean, I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives before I even get to work at 8 a.m. with my family and everything.
Mm.
And I have to have that reset in the morning. Maybe I have to put on some music, or maybe I have to just like shake it out a little bit before I head in. But, it's these simple practices that actually, to some people, may sound cheesy, but I do believe they really help.
I didn't realize that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Before I refused to put on a wig to go to work. No, no effing way. But
Oh, no.
I got some cute little scrub caps. I have like
Yeah.
axolotl and flowers. I've been doing my makeup every day.
Mhm.
Never a full face because I wear masks and it just like rubbing off looks atrocious. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, I didn't realize that's not what and some days
That's
when
what
I'm
you're
like,
doing.
I don't want to wear scrubs, I put on a witchy outfit and wear a white coat. And guess what? Everything looks good under a white coat. Surprise.
It does. It does. Yeah, that's what you're doing. It's really, you're adding your glamour to the day. And I think
Mm.
to me, it really was a game changer. And so I try to do that, and I try to show up in that way as much as I can in my regular home life too. It doesn't hurt when my 3-year-old is like, "Mommy, you're so beautiful."
Wow. Wow. That's
Like, "Oh
that's
my God,
that's
love you
so
forever."
love you forever. Like, thank you for being like so in touch with your both masculinity and femininity, like as a 3-year-old to like give people compliments without them asking for it.
He does, and he's a very magical child. I had a reading with this woman who's a medium, and she does like spirit guide channeling and all these
Hmm.
things. And she had told me that my 3-year-old, his name is Jasper, that he has psychic abilities and
Oh
that
yeah.
he's a very magical child. I mean, he tells me that he sees all these different things, and I do feel it from him. I really do. And
Mm.
and a lot of people might think, oh, well, that's because of how you are. But I'm his mom. Like, he doesn't see me in, maybe he does observe me, of course, but it's not like I'm sitting here talking about these esoteric topics with a 3-year-old. But it seems like he just has this innate understanding of things that's
So
so much
cool.
more than what a child of his age would be able to comprehend. I mean, even his teachers at his daycare, they always say like, "Oh my gosh, he just tells us all this stuff." And I'm like, "Well, he's not really getting that from me. That's coming from inside himself." I mean, he's probably lived how many past lives and
Mm.
acquired that knowledge over all these lives, and now he's just sharing it.
And they're just kids are intuitive. Like
They're so
before
intuitive,
anyone like knocks it out of them from sitting in school 9 to 5, like they're connected. They are so
so connected.
connected. Hmm.
Do you feel like you kind of a magical child? I mean, I was always one of those kids that was out just, making potions and always making a potion when I was young. Always.
My magic, I'm a Pisces, so my magic was always in my imagination and I
Yeah.
was always playing. I didn't play, I played a bunch of video games, but I was always outside in the woods. I always hung out with the outcasts. I grew up in New Jersey, in
Oh, New
suburban,
Jersey. Oh,
suburban,
suburban New Jersey.
suburban New Jersey, a town of 10,000 people. And so it was the one queer kid and then all the kids of color hanging out together.
Oh, wow, interesting. My husband, he
Mhm.
grew up in, Cerebral, New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, I grew up maybe like 45 minutes north in Bergen County, but Sayreville has this awesome concert venue, Starland Ballroom, and
Oh,
yeah, it's so good.
my husband was like, I mean, he's quite a bit older than me, but he was like into, he was like in a glam band back in the day named Satin Steel, like
Satin?
Satin Steel. He
That's
had like,
kind of witchy.
oh yeah, and it was like he would have, back in that time, like in the late 80s, early 90s, it was a glam band. So he would like, have the
Big hair.
big curled, like the permed hair and the makeup and the
That's
spandex
awesome.
and all the stuff. The pictures are just so golden. Like, it's just amazing. So,
I love that glam magic for him.
oh
It's
my gosh, it's so funny too, because then I met him and he's just like a guy. And I met him and I'm like, but you have that other side of you. And I love that.
it's interesting looking back on New Jersey and seeing how much look, it's pretty democratic. I mean, what does democratic even mean in 2026? But to still recognize, yeah, exactly. But recognize the hold that like Catholicism and republicanism still
Hmm.
has, especially in suburban towns. Like, if people aren't talking about stuff, that's problematic,
Hmm.
you know? And like, yeah, they hang up a queer flag every month for Pride, but like, what are you doing to make it safe for queer children to exist here in a town where they do not get to be seen or heard or have reflections of themselves to mirror?
Hmm.
And only as only after moving away and being a witch and practicing every day and talking to all the dead relatives that keep me
Hmm.
up and
Yeah.
quite literally like do
Mhm.
it did I recognize that.
Yeah. So now you don't live in New Jersey anymore, and you've moved out of the East Coast. So I'm excited that, I mean, I'm hoping that we can meet up in real life. That would be super
We're
fun.
so close. I'm in Berkeley, East
Yeah,
Bay.
you're super close. Yeah. We
I
were
mean, I
just
saw you at Florence, and I was like,
I
I don't know.
know.
I'm just so awkward. And I was like, she looks
I'm
just like her.
awkward.
I was like,
I'm
she looks
awkward too.
just like her picture. Is that her? And then like they swooped us inside and they put us in the pit area, and there was no hold.
You were down in the very front.
Yeah, yeah. So to the side stage, I didn't realize she uses the B stage. We saw Florence together. Well,
We
I
did.
mean,
Yeah,
we
we saw
all,
Machine together. It was
all
a
the entire Californian witch and famous folks were at that concert. Oh yeah.
it was good. It was so good. I loved it. It was just the best.
What's your favorite? Are you an album girl?
Oh yeah. I would honestly, I think even back to oh, what's my favorite? Honestly, I just really love even just like her first and second albums are some of my favorites. And like I really love the her latest albums too. I don't know. There's just something
Mhm.
just kind of special about every genre. I've been really enjoying going and like I never really watched music videos, but I've been really
Yeah.
enjoying watching like going onto YouTube and like watching all of her different genre, like all
I've
the
never
different album
seen
music videos is so fascinating.
I've never watched Florence's music videos. I grew up with Gaga as my mother, so she was doing
Oh,
13-minute music videos. If you've never seen Alejandro, you have to see
yeah.
that. It is my
Gaga's my other queen.
uh,
Oh, we could
Did
go
you see
down,
the Mayhem Ball?
of course.
Here, wait, were you at the Chase Center?
Yes.
I was there too. I flew here for that.
Yeah.
It was so much cheaper to see her here than in New York.
I took my whole family, the kids, everybody.
I can't believe we've been to two concerts together.
Yes. Our
Uh,
queens.
Gaga's my favorite. Halsey is my second. So first of all, I think
Mhm.
I agree with you about the first two Florence albums, Ceremonials and Lungs.
Mhm.
Perfect, perfect,
Perfect.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Like who let her put 10 songs like that on an album?
Incredible.
Whoever did is it was her. Gaga, number one. This album really brought me back to being a monster, to
Uh,
remembering what she stood for, to like I feel to have watched her become the quintessential death of a blonde pop star was sad. And then to see my mama come back in her dark gothic who
it like literally gives me chills.
Love Drug Live saved. I can't handle it. And she changes the lyrics every time to she's like, the mic's on. I know like I sing live. Love
Oh
Drug.
my God, that album. So we're not over Mayhem yet. Did you
We're never
listen
gonna
to
be
the
Requiem.
Requiem?
No, did you?
Yeah, I had to get Apple Music because I didn't have Apple Music. So then I had to get Apple Music and I just did like the trial so I could like listen to it nonstop. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was really great. I didn't have the best seats because I wanted to bring my kids because I wanted them
Yeah.
to experience. Actually, my oldest son, his first concert was Lady Gaga when he was 8 months old. When we went and saw her Joanne tour,
Okay. That's a strong concert.
and we had a and we thought my mother-in-law was going to be able to babysit the baby, but then she just decided that she needed to go to church at the time that she was supposed to babysit our baby. So we had to like, we went and got some little earmuffs and the baby went in the
The
pouch.
lawnmower earmuffs.
Yeah, we went to see Gaga and I was like nursing the baby in the bathroom at Gaga and I was like, "Oh, whatever, who cares? This is amazing. I'm
I,
here."
I think I've seen her live like 15, 20 times.
Oh, that's amazing. I
In,
have
co-
not. I've only seen her twice.
in college, art pop was around, and so that was the era when I was a
Oh, I
free.
love her.
I followed her all the way up the East Coast into Canada, and bring back $90 pit tickets,
I know.
please.
I mean, I was like, God, how did you afford that? But I guess it was cheaper
Yeah,
because I mean, it was so expensive for my whole family to go see Mayhem. And we were like even up in the freaking nosebleeds. And
I was up there with you. I paid 300 for a
yeah,
nosebleed ticket.
yeah.
Um, During our pop, she subsidized the pit tickets by having 1,500 tickets for rich people. So she had
Oh,
like a pit within the pit. So, selling 15 times whatever that math ends up being, she subsidized the pit tickets for everybody.
ugh.
And then everyone buys it when they're $90 because like that's a much more affordable price.
Yes, absolutely. Uh-oh,
Bring
hang on.
back,
Hang on. We're
I
gonna
hear,
get I hear a chair. Okay, hang on. Finley. Okay, don't he opens the door. It's like hee hee. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah,
All
they're
right.
cheeky.
Okay. Well, I've kept you on for an hour now, and I probably can talk to you forever. But before we go, because I forgot to ask you when we
Yes.
first started, what gave you some big crystal energy this week?
I had the pleasure of taking care of an 8-year-old non-binary kid. They had
Yeah.
they had broken I think they broke their fingers. I didn't have an X-ray, but swollen tender, treat it like a
Yeah.
fracture. So I was
Yeah.
putting them in a splint, and they were just like, "Do you talk to spiders?" And I was like, "Oh, I talk to spiders. Do you talk to spiders?" And so at the end, I gave them a rock that came from the bottom of a candle. It was like
Oh,
a
wow.
black tourmaline or something. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. I'm still learning. And I
Okay.
was like, please take this. Like, I promise you, there's going to be a time where you get to be an adult and no one's trying to take your rights away, but I need you to still live. I need
Oh
you
my
to live
gosh,
for
that's
me.
so
And
beautiful.
mom, like, almost started crying. And
Oh
me
my
too.
God. That is so
So,
beautiful.
yes,
Wow, what a precious moment.
seeing that there are queer kids who are loved gave me big crystal energy this week.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow. I
Mm,
just love that so much.
mm,
I'm so glad that that child was able to have that moment because it's probably not very common, in a medical setting. So
no. And then
that's
they found a
cool.
spider on the wall and just stood there for like 5 minutes looking at the spider. And I was like, if I have a child, it's gonna be this.
Yes, that's so cool. My little one is absolutely obsessed with all the bugs and he collects every single insect from my backyard and brings it in or brings toads in and lets them go on my bed, which I don't really want a toad jumping around on my bed, but
No, this is not a prince. It's not if it's not a sugar daddy, take it back outside.
toads outside, please. They pee everywhere.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah,
they're amphibians because they just pee in the water.
they just like you pick them up and they just want to pee everywhere. So,
Oh,
yeah.
gross.
So, what's giving me big crystal energy this week is that I have been taking this incredible Akashic crystal healing course with her name is
Wow.
Krista Mitchell. She's very well known in the crystal healing world, and it is. I'm only 3 classes in, but it is just like it's mind blowing the things that I'm learning from her about the Akashic records and just about like all the stuff within our DNA and everything is just like taking me to a whole new level. So I cannot wait to get through this training and offer these services myself in the near future. So that's really giving me
I have so many questions. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. You have to come on my podcast when I launch, and
Okay.
we have to talk about magic and genetics. That's like
Okay,
one
let's do
thing
it.
I
Oh
wanted
yeah.
deeply.
Oh
I,
yeah. Oh my
it's
gosh. I
not
have a book. Where's
it's
that
not
book?
set up yet, but I'm getting there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Look at this. The magic in your genes. Yeah. I can I haven't read it yet. But when you
Okay.
said that, I was like, it's your personal path to ancestor work. And I was like,
Okay.
yes, let's
No.
do it. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah. When you said that, I'm like, oh my God, I have that book right
Yeah.
now.
So I'll be recruiting magical, mystical science baddies. Can I plug myself?
Of course. That's what I
Okay.
was going to get to next. So,
Okay.
yes, please, where can people get to know you and all the good things?
Hi, everybody. I'm Calla, she, her. You can find me on Instagram, sacredwolf.ca. I am summoning all healthcare burnouts, pleasure piggies, and my fellow trans people who need some help getting through this life and the next life in medium.
Yeah.
And just like the next 3 days. I provide medium sittings and Reiki sessions over Zoom. There's multiple ways to work with me for free, for low level and for medium level payments. So come follow me, come learn some stuff, come get your chosen mama's water.
Woo! Okay, I'll put all of Calla's stuff in our show notes. This has been so fun. I know that
Yes,
I'm gonna have to have you back because I feel like we just barely scratched the surface.
I know.
And now my children are barging in, so I'm like, that's the sign where I have to shut it down.
All right, fine.
They're gonna harass me endlessly until I go tend to all of their endless needs.
We'll
So,
do part 2, whether it's on Big Crystal Energy or STEM Witches. That's the new.
ooh,
That's the working name.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
I want to do STEM bitches, but I was like, maybe not everyone identifies as a bitch, so I'll switch to. Although we should identify more with that word.
You know what? It's your podcast. You can call it whatever you want.
I didn't want to cut off masculine energied people, though. So
I know. I get that. I get that.
yeah,
I do have I too also have some male listeners, and I love to have I mean I love men too, as long as
I
you're
love men.
male. So
As long as you're a feminist, I love
yeah,
you.
absolutely. 100%. All right, Calla, have a beautiful day.
Bye, Ash. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending this time at the threshold with me. If you want to go deeper, follow me on Instagram at mystical.mama.ash, where I share daily crystal magic and behind the scenes of this liminal life. You can also find resources, previous episodes, and ways to work with me at bigcrystalenergy.com. We're also on YouTube at Big Crystal Energy Podcast. And if this episode resonated with you, please rate it and review it and share it with a friend that you think would connect with it. It would mean so much to me and helping build this beautiful community of other magical friends and crystal workers. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.